So there I was, sitting, hands clammy, throat dry, looking around, worried that I would get caught. I'm anxious, and I'm jonesing, and I know in that moment, I've got issues. See, I should know what addiction's like. I've been sober 9 years. 9 years ago. Thank you. 9 years ago, I knew I had to admit I had a problem so that I could work on it and develop myself. But this one is not my fault. I have never not had technology. I have never not had technology. My days are full of contradictions. It starts in the morning when I pick up my phone. There's a daily leaderboard. I see people's likes and dislikes. I get ranked and I rank others. I post about things that matter deeply and things that don't. People know where I am, and I know where they are, and I know the dialogue about my generation, millennials. We're lazy, we're entitled, we spend $5 a day on coffee and $10 a day on avocado toast. We don't have retirement savings. I can't think that far ahead. My days consist of likes, hearts, shares, reposts, and inventing acronyms and shortcuts for words that don't need them. Do we really need to call a reservation a reso? It was circa 1990 as I think about my journey in technology. Now, my days and my nights are consumed with technology. It's all I know. I am the product of technology and innovation. And my parents got call waiting when I was in elementary school, enhanced caller ID. It was a mini People's Choice Awards. Someone wins and someone loses. You're on the phone and you see who's calling and you decide if you want to stay on that call or get rid of them to go on the next one. These are brutal decisions in 5th grade. I wonder if Alexander Graham Bell knew that 150 years later, most people would prefer texting to talking, and that most of us wouldn't even have a landline in our house anymore. My parents, married for 42 years, tell me and joke around that my husband Mark and I, who've been married for 5, have talked more in that 5 years than they have their entire marriage. They are, by generation, baby boomers. The generation that was starting to be able to acquire wealth and savings. The big technology in their era was the television. Their lives changed seeing the Apollo moon landings, Woodstock, youth culture. Their generation defined the rise of the teenager. They viewed their jobs for security and their careers as defined by their employers. They were teachers for 40 years. Now, I have my husband in my pocket all day long. And by pocket, I mean my phone. I carry my phone with me all day long. In fact, the stats tell us that 93% of us, have our phones within arm's reach 23 hours and 40 minutes of the day. What are we doing for the other 20 minutes? Now, my parents used to go to work every day and be radio silent for 8 hours. Nothing. Now, I know where my husband is. I know what he's had for lunch. I know if he's having a great day or a meh day. My husband is a Gen Xer. the generation right before mine, the first generation to tout work-life balance, the first generation to standardize emails and conference calls as the go-to form for business communication, and a generation that viewed their jobs as professional careers. They were incredibly loyal to those professions and their careers, but not to their employers. Now I look at my generation, the millennials. We look at ourselves as working with organizations, not for them. We value freedom and flexibility over stability. But we are a little hyper and restless, but we don't know any other way to be. Right now, I have 10,425 photos on my phone. 26 if you count the one from backstage. My Verizon bill shows that I sent 5,600 text messages last month, and I blew through 85 gigabytes of data. My parents go through 2. I don't know what I looked at, and I have no idea with what I did with that time that was so important. Well, it seemed important in the time that I was doing it. Now, I once asked my dad how he wrote his term paper in college, and he told me it was a 90-day process, 90 days, 3 months to write one paper that required pre-writing, revisions, and drafts, and he did it on a typewriter, and he didn't have correction tape because it was really expensive. So if he messed up that one page, he had to type that whole thing over. When I was in college, all I needed was coffee, a Red Bull, some music, and my computer to finish that term paper in a day. You know, bragging started with us, the millennials, according to experts and thought leaders everywhere. I'm here to tell you today that it didn't. Every generation has defined their own version of connectedness, fueled by technology and the improvements or enhancements that were available to them. It's not me, it's not you, it's us. Now, I may post pictures of my salad and take selfies or lonelies, depending on how you look at it. But my grandparents, part of the maturest generation, you know what they did? They had their friends over for bridge and coffee to watch slideshows of their vacations to Hawaii. You want to know why they did that? They did that because they wanted to show their friends how awesome their vacation was. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that sounds a lot like Instagram. I guess what's cool about that is knowing that at age 5, I took my first selfie with my mom and my dad. They had dropped a lot of money on this Polaroid camera. It gave them instant gratification that they needed. No more worrying if you had a funny face or your eyes were closed. You could see it. It was tangible. And I guess what's cool about that is seeing my daughter, who's 11, love her Polaroid camera. Polaroid came out with a new version that kids today love. Now, she loves that iPhone. But the Polaroids are tangible. There's something that she can hold. She can put them on her wall. Now, it's retro, but I like to think this all comes full circle. I once heard that the faintest ink is better than the best memory. And I think that that's all that this is. So there I was, sitting, hands clammy, throat dry, looking around, worried that I would get caught. I'm at a dinner with friends from college. They're an interesting generation of people that I know because they've rejected social media, these friends of mine. Now, they have flip phones and Blackberries and don't have social media apps on their phone, and they take pictures with cameras, and you might call them hipsters. I'm sitting at the end of the table and I hear, Maresa, we haven't seen you in 4 years and you're taking a picture of your salad and checking it on Facebook. This was the moment I needed. I looked up and I see 6 faces staring at me. I had been shamed. The first step towards correcting a problem in your life is admitting that you have one. My name is Maresa Friedman, and I'm a millennial addicted to my technology. But it's not my fault. Thank you.